Hey there, friend. Welcome to Create Conversations. This podcast is designed to connect you with entrepreneurs and creatives from across the country and sometimes around the world. When I was first starting my business, I really didn't have that sense of community to connect with, to bounce ideas off of, to really know that I'm going the right direction or was doing something right. That's why I created this podcast, to give you that community in hopes that it can inspire you and drive you forward through your entrepreneurial journey. So without further ado, let's create some conversations. Hey there, friends. I'm here with Neely from Neely Roberts Photography, and today's topic, we're going to talk about the balance of the side hustle. As you all know, I am a side hustler myself, and Neely is an awesome side hustler photographer, and we've been friends for a while, so we're just going to jump in and talk about all the things. So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and your business?
Well, I, as you've mentioned, am a photographer, and, some things about me. I love to travel. I love learning. I love reading. I love getting to know people. I love getting to know people's backstory, what they like to do, just learning about kind of just everything. And I know that sounds crazy. But it's something that drives me, and I just love being out, again, being around people, building relationships with people. That's huge. And so photography is a great thing for me to build those relationships with people, because you are there one-on-one with people, and you are getting to know them, and you are getting to know their story. And
you're in intimate situations,
right?
So you have to kind of know them, or else it's like really awkward.
It is. It can be awkward. So that's just a little bit about me, a little bit about my business. I'm a people person.
And are you just a wedding photographer?
I am. So I've done families, I've done weddings, I've done seniors.
Oh yeah, because you have a senior rep this year, right?
I do. I love her. She's the best. She's precious, and she is fierce. Oh my gosh. She is, if you look at her pictures, she's just fierce. And Cricket, one of our mutual photography friends, when she saw one of her pictures, that is the first word she said. She's so fierce. And she's wonderful. Family's great. I love her.
That's awesome. So you kind of do a little bit of everything.
I do. I am... I really love weddings. Mm-hmm. I love seniors. I love being able to tell someone's story to other people through images.
Yeah.
And getting to know people and just celebrating with them, their day, and being with them and doing something that I love with them on a day that's going to be very special to them, such as a wedding.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how, and I know it's a two-part question, but how and why did you get into photography?
Well, I'm going to give you the answer that I feel like a lot of photographers say, and this is not to discount, please, I'm not discounting any photographer, but I've always loved it.
Yeah.
Okay, I've always loved it. I just have at my grandmother's house, she has all these albums with really old pictures.
Yeah.
I have a picture of my grandmother on her wedding day leaving the courthouse.
Wow.
And my grandmother will actually be 99 at the end of this month.
Oh my gosh.
And so I have a picture of her and my grandfather leaving the courthouse. And when I look at that, it just makes me smile, because I can be there with her in a sense when I look at that picture.
Yeah.
I have pictures of my great-grandmother in her wedding dress with all the beading. I have a picture of my great-great-grandfather. So I've just been drawn to images, and they just speak to me, and it makes me think of what was going on in their life at the time. How were they feeling when this was taken? And I'm just very intrigued by the what ifs, or what's going on with them. So I've kind of always just really been drawn to it. And it makes my gears turn in my head and think, I wonder what was happening in their life at this time.
You're not full-time photography.
No, I'm not
full-time. So what is your full-time job?
So my full-time job is I provide speech and language therapy services for public school children in grades preschool through 12th grade.
I never heard like a K-12.
Well, they're not K-12. I serve schools that are pre-K through 8th grade. I've served schools pre-K through 5th grade, high schools, middle schools. So,
but like, I mean, I've never heard someone with that. Like, I have a relative who, she's a speech pathologist, but she only works with middle schoolers.
Gotcha.
So I didn't know that was like, you could get the whole spectrum.
Right. So it's what I've got, and I'm not a speech pathologist, but I do have the communication disorders degree, and then I have the licensure to work in the school system, which the licensure grants preschool through 12th grade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
At least in Tennessee. I'm not sure where how it is in other states, but in Tennessee it grants you the ability to do therapy preschool through 12.
That's so cool.
I mean, I have days that I'm sitting on the floor with 3-year-olds, and 20 minutes later I am in a sea of high school students as they're changing classes.
Trauma of just like all the wonderful memories of high school or not. So, I guess kind of a follow-up question. So you're doing this and your current full-time job, and I can tell that you like it.
It's fun.
So what makes you, because I know you told me that you like to be full-time photography.
Yes.
Like why are you thinking about that shift?
I feel like when you have a passion for something, and it's one of these things that it's always in the back of your mind. When I drive to work, I don't think about work. I think about photography.
Yeah.
On my way home from work, when I'm sitting in traffic, I think about
like the blog you need to write.
The blog that I need to write, the email that I need to reply to, or the style guide that I need to send out, and things like that. I know they sound, day in, day out, the mundane, I'm just replying to an email, but you're building that relationship with someone, and it's exciting to me.
Yeah.
And so, absolutely, I do want photography to be a full-time career.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would also like to educate.
Yeah.
Eventually like to educate as well as doing photography.
Yeah.
So I don't think I will ever leave the education world. It will just be a shift.
Yeah.
In how it is.
Yeah. So then how have you, because I know how I juggle all the things. How do you juggle all the things? Because like I'm making a podcast and I still have a full-time job. Like I have no life. So how do you juggle all the things?
Carefully, and sometimes I drop all the balls that I'm juggling. So there are a ton of apps that a lot of my friends use. One of them being Trello. It's on my phone. It's a great scheduling system, and you can see it.
Oh, that's what it is.
I'm kind of old school, so I have a calendar that goes with me every day. I have a giant calendar in our office room. So if I'm out, and my husband, I've linked him up on Trello. So if he's at work and where's Neely today? Like, is she going somewhere? Is she shooting after work?
What is she doing?
Right. He can pull it up and say, okay, there's where she is. But I write down on the giant calendar. I write down in my big calendar. I'm a visual person, so I have to see it. But it's just, Monday through Friday is, job 7 to 3, 7 to 3:30. Depends how long I'm going to stay after work. And then when that part is over with, I'm in photography mode. Even if I'm not shooting, even if I'm not editing, even if I am not sending emails, I am, for the most part. Now, I'm not even going to lie and say I don't get caught up and go down the rabbit hole of Facebook or Instagram because it happens,
It happens to everyone.
Right. But I've really started listening to podcasts. And I know a lot of people are like, I listen to podcasts. And I'm on a podcast, yay. But there's different podcasts. And it's not just photography podcasts. There are so many out there that I think are just great life ones to listen to, just to better yourself.
Yeah.
And so I have work, I have photography, and then kind of the in between, I have things that I'm doing to improve. Mm-hmm. And one of those things is education. So I'm trying to be intentional about the education courses that I take. I'm just not going to sign up. Oh, that sounds great, I'm going to sign up. Or this sounds great, I'm going to sign up. There are some educators that I follow, and honestly, they could sell me. They could say, "Hey, here's a moldy lemon. I'm going to sell it," and I would buy it because
it's them.
It's them, and what they teach works.
Yeah,
and it is not just about snapping a picture. It's not.
Yeah,
and so, I try to keep a balance. It's not always 100%. It's not even 90% sometimes.
Right.
But you have to give yourself grace.
Yeah.
If you get so stressed on one or the other, or if you go 100% with one and 100% with other, you're going to just get burned out.
Yeah.
So you have to offer yourself grace, and you have to say, okay, I'm going to take a break from this. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take a break from maybe the paperwork of school, or maybe you're in another job. You have accounting. I need to take a break from this, or I need to take a break from photography, or whatever it is job that you do, that your creative outlet is, and walk outside, get fresh air, listen to music, just kind of give your mind a break, and then you can kind of come back refreshed.
Yeah.
So you need to just be able to devote time to both, mm-hmm. but not all of your time so that you are burnt out and then you resent
what you're doing,
your creative outlet that you love.
Right. Are you a person to like schedule, say like Mondays I do emails, Tuesday I do editing, Thursday I do blog, like whatever?
I wished. Oh my gosh, I wish. No, I want to be that way. However, on the weekends is when so if I've had a wedding or a senior event, depending on when I get home, mm-hmm. Editing is, especially if it's late. If I get home at 11 o'clock at night, I'm not going to edit that night.
Yeah.
The next day, I'm going to cull, and for a wedding, I'm going to break it up. Somebody in an education group gave a fantastic tip. Don't try to edit it all at once, or don't try to go through and I'm just going to do this for details for a little bit, then I'm going to do groom getting ready, and it's overwhelming. So I'm just going to do the details, and for the next 25 minutes, I'm just going to edit the details, and then I'm done. Mm. And then step away, and then maybe an hour later you say, I think I'm going to edit the groom's getting ready. So you're doing it in batches, mm-hmm. so it doesn't seem like you're so overwhelmed with it. Mm-hmm. No, I wish that I said Monday I did emails, Tuesday I did this, but I do have again, pen and paper, a to-do list, and I will write it down, and it's right in front of me, and I can mark through and say, okay.
Like, I need a physical, like, other people I know, they can write notes on their phone. Like, I forget they're there, because it's not, like, there's, like, a physical thing in my brain, like, when I write, it jogs my memory, and that I know when they're there, and so I like, write my to-do list, and I also have it in Google Keep so that I can actually literally check it off as I go. And I have it always up in my browser so that I can check it. But I wish I was that way. I totally wish I was that way. I think it was when I moved that things shifted. But I do have like all my to-do lists on Google Keep so that I can literally check it off. And then sometimes I actually write a to-do list in addition to that. Since we've talked about side hustling, what would full-time photography do for you? What would, like, I know, because, like, I would give a good comparison. Like, I love being a graphic designer, but being a full-time photographer and podcaster and all the other stuff I do would give me freedom, like, mm-hmm. more, and I have more control of my schedule. Like, what would you being a full-time photographer, what would that do for you?
Yeah, I totally agree. Being in control of your schedule and being where you call the shots, mm-hmm. instead of punching a time clock. Yeah. It's huge. Mm-hmm. It gives you freedom, photography or not, whatever creative outlet you do.
Yeah.
It gives you the freedom to say yes to things instead of saying no. For example, I've had some friends that have said, hey, let's get together and have a girls' day on Saturday. And I can't because I have a wedding. Or we had a bunch of our friends that we did game nights, and my friend said, hey, let's do game night on this day, on Friday. And I thought, I can't do game night because I would get home at 10 o'clock and have to be up at 6 to be at a venue at 10 a.m. And I'm not doing that. And so right now you're saying no to things, and being able to be your own boss and doing your creative thing as your full-time job gives you the freedom to say yes to a lot more things. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be easier.
Right.
Because I have found that actually this past year has been really, it's been a year of growth. And so I know the month of April was crazy busy. Every weekend it was Friday night, Friday and Saturday night, Saturday and Sunday, and telling people no, I can't do it, and missing out. And it's not the FOMO, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss it. It's not that. It's just I'm missing having the relationship with my friends and spending the quality time with them. Right. Spending the quality time with my husband. On Saturdays, I would leave at 10 o'clock in the morning and then come home at 11:30 or midnight. Yeah. And it's leaving him with all the responsibility. You know, I'm not a parent. Right. So I don't, to the parents that do this, they are amazing. And you know what? I cannot just put them on a pedestal enough, because as a parent that has a full-time job and that is trying to get the creative side going. Yeah. Man, I applaud you. Yeah. Because just me with having pets and a husband, and you feel like I'm leaving my husband holding the bag. He's the one that is, oh my gosh, the cat is sick, so he has to take them to the vet. Or the dog he has to give them the medicine. And so he's dealing with all that. And I'm gone for 12 hours, 13 hours. Right. And, you know, that part is hard. That part for me is really hard, because I never want it to feel like I'm not contributing in our marriage. And he would never think that. He's told me, he's like, Neely, you are working hard. And he's like, I'm so proud of you. And that's awesome. So, I think having the opportunity to say, I don't have to go to work Monday through Friday. Guess what I get to do on Monday? I get to tour a venue. Yeah. That's what I get to do.
While I run a load of laundry before I come back home.
Right. Or I get to, the wedding was on Saturday. I get to edit the wedding on Monday.
Yeah, you could spend your Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. I can do that. And then maybe on Tuesday I get to have a meet and greet with other photographers, you know? So it's just the creative aspect of it. Going full time would allow me to be my own boss. It would allow more freedoms, but then it would also, I feel like, it's really hard to explain, but it would give me more opportunities to build more relationships with more people. Right. One of my sweet brides, I'm so excited for their wedding. It's in February, and
I mean, at least it's not February in Wisconsin.
That's true. That is true. You know, it could be 55 or 60 degrees here in February. We don't know. Or we could have ice.
Yeah, who knows?
You know, you just don't know. Precious, she invited me to her bridal shower. I know, so sweet. I know. I love her. And I couldn't go. And the fact that she thought about me enough to invite me, and she said, you are such a part of our story. Yeah. And I want to be part of people's stories in a way that they trust me enough to capture their story. Yeah. You know, there's one thing that I love about this is, besides the fact that, you know, you get to do it, you get to peek into parts of people's lives that many people don't see.
Right.
One of my friends messaged me and said, hey, guess what? We're pregnant and we want you to shoot the announcement. So I know this.
Oh my gosh.
When did they announce it? I probably knew 8 weeks before
that's so
other people.
Cool. Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, I can't, you're the secret keeper.
Yeah.
You can't say anything. And a lady that I worked with, she's not in the school where I am now. She's amazing. She's a phenomenal teacher. She and her husband did a foster to adopt. And so she asked me, Neely, will you photograph the adoption? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like that's amazing. But I told her, Mary, I have never photographed an adoption before. Yeah. That's fine. I trust you. And that right there, just her saying I trust you was huge to me because we had established that relationship. I'm not a transactional photographer. I'm not going to say, okay, sign the contract. I'm going to show up, I shoot, I deliver your images, and we're done. Right. That's just not me. And so because we had that relationship, she trusted me enough, even though she knew I had never shot one before. So we get to the courthouse. We get through the security. We're sitting, in the benches and stuff. And it was a little while, maybe 20 minutes. Caseworker's there, the attorney is there, mom and dad, family is there. And so the judge walks in and they call them up. I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills talking about it. And so the judge says, she motions to me and says, stand right up here. So I'm standing up at the judge's bench beside her, staring out at everybody in the courtroom. And if you go to my if you go to my website, there's pictures of it. And there's a lot of people standing out there. And I could I'm emotional. Yeah. I'm going to cry on your wedding day. I am. I'm going to cry probably at your maternity session, or at least tear up. If you ask me to photograph an adoption, I will sob. That's just who I am because I get emotionally invested in you. And I love it. Right. I love it so much. And I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the lump in my throat. And I thought, Neely, no, stop. Tears. Somebody hands me a tissue from the left side, wiping. The judge hands me the box, and it's getting worse. It's continuing, and where it's audible, And I thought, all these people are staring at me, and I'm up here sobbing. And the judge turns and looks at me and says, "Are you going to be okay to continue?" And I said, "Yes, Your Honor." I mean, it was like I squeaked it out as best that I could.
Oh man!
So. Having that experience and having a family invite you into such a moment in their life is what drives me to do what I love to do. And I want to build those relationships with people, and I want people to trust me enough to say, we want to invite you in. Yeah. And so, when you have bad day, if you're doing this, if you're working full time and you're doing, whether it's graphic design, photography, videography, anything like that, and you have those bad days at work that you drive home in tears, because I've had those days. Same. And, and they're hard. Yeah. And you get home, you think about and you look back on your images of where somebody trusted you enough to be in the courtroom. Yeah. Somebody trusted you enough to capture pictures of them with their dying father. Wow. Holding hands at, during their pictures and at a father-daughter dance. The bride's crying, dad's crying, you're crying. But the fact that somebody says, I'm inviting you in because I trust you, because we have a relationship, being able to do that and serve others and love others in a way that God has called us to love and serve people is incredibly fulfilling. And it is what drives me, and it's what gets me out of bed.
Yeah. That's awesome. That moved me. So, what sets you apart from other people who have photography as a side hustle? Like, what would you say?
Probably building the relationships with people. Yeah. Getting to know people, building that trust with them. You can have two photographers that shoot very similar. Their images look very similar. Their prices are very similar. But you have one that builds a relationship and builds trust with that couple or that senior or that family. And then you have one that shows up, just shoots, doesn't have a lot of interaction, leaves the session, goes home, delivers a gallery, sends them a link. Your images are ready. Have a great day. Which photographer do you think people are going to want to be with? They're going to want to be with somebody that builds a relationship with people. Mm-hmm. Now, me and my personality, who I am, I'm a talker. I want to get to know people. Yeah. And I feel like, again, the big thing is just building those relationships, because you're going to have people that invite you into their lives, and you're going to know secrets about them, such as pregnancy announcement, before other people do. And the fact that they trust you enough, and they trust what you say. Maybe you go on a location and somebody says, I really, really, really want to take pictures right here, but the light is off, or there's just something that that is not going to be something that they're going to look back on and say, oh, it was great. Or it's just not going to be how you feel that it should be. So you take them to another location, and to them, it may look like this is nothing but a bunch of trees in the background. I really wanted this beautiful fountain or whatever. And because they have built that relationship with you, because they trust you enough, they go over there and they trust you to do it. That does not mean that you don't get to go back to the fountain or the barn or whatever it is that they wanted. It's just that it may not seem to them, oh, I don't know how that's going to look, but we trust you because we believe in you. And also how you treat people. Just think about, I know people say, oh, treat others as you wish to be treated. Absolutely. You have to put yourself in their shoes. You have people that they've never been married before. They've never walked down that road. And
I think that definitely goes for, like, even myself as a branding photographer, my working with other photographers, shooting pictures for me, I have definitely worked with a couple photographers that, like, they're like, oh, just stand there and just roll with it. And I'm thinking to myself, I would never do that to a client, because you may be a photographer and you may pose other people, but you can't see behind their camera. You don't see what they see. So I can't consciously know what will look good. I may pose myself how I pose a senior, but it may not look great by the angle we are, the lighting because I am trusting in them to know what's right. And I've definitely spent money and got pictures back that I'm like, wow, that was bad.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, I want people to feel comfortable with me. And the sweet couple that I was telling you that invited me to their wedding shower, we left the engagement shoot. So pretty. We were in a garden. And the groom said, wow, that was fun. Well, the groom-to-be. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, he said that was so fun. And another thing special about this couple is during their time together, he was at the fire academy.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's second generation firefighter. His father's a firefighter. And he has loved this since he was a child. And I'm thinking, we have to incorporate this. This is your story. And so we went to the fire station. We went to his fire station. And we shot. He was in his gear, and they had the name of his fire station, or the town of his fire station on there. And that's part of their story. And when their children look back at these and their grandchildren look back at these pictures, they can say, grandpa or mom, whatever, like, look at you and daddy when daddy was first starting at the fire station. So you, people have trust in you. You build these relationships. You treat other people like you want to be treated. You put yourself in their position. How would you feel if somebody treated you that way? If you were at a session and the photographer said, just turn this way and do whatever. Snap, snap. Okay. Can you move your hair out of the way? I mean, like, tone alone in your voice. Just encourage, build up, support, love, serve, build relationships. I can talk about this all day long because I love building relationships and serving and loving people. It's just, it's something I love to do. And so, when your couples feel at ease, and that's what I want. I want people, seniors, couples, families, I want them to feel at ease with me.
Yeah.
That they do have fun.
Yeah.
Because if they are tense, if they are uncomfortable, it will translate on camera.
Yeah.
And you can see it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, they have a great smile and they're smiling, but you can still see if they're uncomfortable, if they don't like the pose that you've put them in, or maybe they feel really awkward. You know, or you have 5 or 6 or 10 seconds of silence. That really makes a difference. If it is dead silent, you think, what have I done? Oh my goodness. Am I doing this wrong?
Right.
You know?
Right. So what advice can you give to other photographers out there that are side hustling like us?
Give yourself grace. Please give yourself grace. Do not, it's hard what I'm about to say, and I do it, I still do it. Yeah. Do not compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to the person in the mirror. Yeah. You're concerned about, but my work doesn't look like this person. You're comparing. Don't play that game, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in that. You know, social media, we post highlight reels. Yeah. That's it. You know?
Yeah, our Instagram is mostly our portfolio. It's not like, I post cute pictures of my stuff, of me doing things, but that's more to like build that relationship. But the pictures we post that we take, those are mostly like our portfolio. There's like, you don't know the other pictures they deleted or didn't edit, or the crappy situation they were in. Yeah. It could have been raining. It could have, like, one of the pictures I took for my good friend who I did their engagement session, and then I did their wedding at the Milwaukee Zoo, and that was amazing. Oh, I loved it. Their engagement session, it was misting the entire time.
Oh my gosh.
And you would, honestly, not to toot my own horn, but you can't tell. Because I tried so hard to make sure it didn't look like that. And it was just, it looked perfectly overcast on like a spring day when it was disgusting outside. It's fine. But yeah, like you really can't get wrapped up in that. And I think really trying to look, something that I've done is I've tried to look at Instagram and Facebook and all the social media platforms as a place to communicate with other entrepreneurs and people. Yes. And not to, like, to share in their excitement, to share in the big things that they're doing, and not be like, oh, they're doing that, why am I not doing that?
Right, exactly. You know, and find your tribe, find your people, find those that get it. There are, there's a group of us, myself included, so 4 of us, that are on Facebook. We're in a Facebook group, and we met through the online education course. We live in different parts of the country, and we are in our group our group message on Facebook, and we message each other, and we message each other encouragement, and hey, can I send you this picture? This session was amazing. I haven't posted anything yet, but I had to go and edit a couple of these. And so you get encouragement from other photographers, because I found people in a local group. I have second shot with a photographer. Yeah, that she has given me the opportunity to second shoot with her a lot. And so Stephanie, bless you, love you, thank you. And something that I like to do, because I'm a visual, on my bathroom mirror, I take a dry erase marker and I write my goals down. And so I have weddings, I've got seniors, I've got conferences that I'd like to attend, things like that. And when I do
shameless plug for Creative at Heart to go to.
Oh, it's on my mirror. Oh, it is. It's totally on my mirror. And I take another color dry erase and I check. And in December, I take a snapshot and I take a picture and I compare. This was December of 2018. This is December of 2019. And I see growth. Yeah. And you know what? It is okay to go slow. Do not feel like, but I'm not where this person is, and I'm not where that person is. And that's okay, because you know what? Where you are today is not where you were 2 years ago.
Right. And you don't know if that's that person's 8th year or 2nd year. Like, exactly. You have no idea.
Exactly. Don't beat yourself up. And the comparison game, you can drive yourself crazy. Yeah. You can. And it can make you get out of your creative outlet completely, because you don't feel like you're where you need to be. But that's okay, because there are free resources out there. There are people out there that believe in you. And if you start to feel like, oh my gosh, I just can't shoot any more cake smashes, take a break and go photograph things you like. Maybe you love photographing birds or
Yeah.
waterfalls. Take a day to yourself.
And do model calls. Like, that has been, like, my blessing in disguise. Like, there is a photographer that I found, and she's from Wisconsin. Here. Like, she's from Madison. And I was like, you've got to be kidding. I go all the way to Tennessee and I find someone from Wisconsin. Right. Of course I do. They just come to me. But
you're just magnetic. We're drawn to you.
Yeah. It's maybe the cheese smell. I don't know. But, yeah, that's just, it blows my mind who you can find in this entrepreneurial world. Like, it's crazy because how people just support each other, just have, like, they're like, oh, yeah, you're awesome. And I'm like, wait, I am? What? I am?
Right.
Okay,
and
cool.
When other people start believing in you, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't want this to come off as, well, I'm bragging. But it's not at all, because, look, there are days that are hard.
Yeah. And
you're going to have days that are hard, and that's okay. But like you said, go to a style shoot. Put on a style shoot yourself. Get your friend to put on her wedding dress, her husband maybe to put on a suit, and go to the grocery store and put together a bouquet. Get a little tiny cake, and where y'all can eat it later, because who doesn't love cake?
Right.
And set them up. And even if you're out, photographing them in their backyard for half an hour.
Right.
Buy some cheap rings from Amazon.
Yeah.
And do some detailed shots, just to get the practice and see what it would be like. I mean, there's ways that you can do things to give yourself experience without actually having to be there, like cheap rings from Amazon, or I'm going to order some stationery, or let me borrow stationery. And you can have a whole flat lay, ribbons, stationery, rings, flowers, and you can practice that stuff so you're not having to do it on an actual wedding day where you're thinking, I've got a time crunch. So find your tribe. Visual goals. I love it. I love visual goals. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. If you are not an extroverted person, I'm an extrovert. If you're not an extrovert, that is okay. Because there are people out there that are like you. Find people who you click with, and don't feel like, well, I don't do dark and moody. I like brighter images, or I don't really do light and airy because I love color. If that is what speaks to you, do what speaks to you. Because if you love color and you try to do dark and moody, or you try to do light and airy, you're not going to love what you do.
Right.
You're just not. So don't conform to what you feel like is popular.
Right. So here's my last question for you, as I ask everyone. What is the best thing about being an entrepreneur?
Gosh.
It's a loaded question.
It is, and this is with an asterisk, you have the opportunity to set your own schedule.
Yeah.
Now, wedding season, and I love weddings, wedding season in Tennessee. I don't know where everyone else is, so
yeah. What is wedding season in Tennessee?
I'm still pretty, getting into the wedding scene, but wedding season in Tennessee, from what I've been around it, is springtime, March, April, May, June. There are August weddings, but it is ridiculously hot and humid in August. I shot 2 July weddings outside, hot, but huge September, October, November, and some in December.
Okay.
So September, October, November are crazy busy times for photographers, at least in Tennessee. You've got the beautiful leaves, you've got the crisp air, you don't have 70% humidity where you're turning like melted butter.
Right.
And so as far as setting your own schedule, there are times where you are going to be working every Saturday for 6 weeks. And maybe you want to take a trip with your husband, or you want to have a girlfriend's, like a girl's weekend trip. But you think, oh my goodness, I can't do that because I've got all this. That's okay. But you can still be your own boss, and it is okay to say no. If you feel like you are getting burnt out, or if you feel like you are getting overwhelmed, it's okay to say, no, I'm not available on your date. No, I can't do this wedding, because sometimes you are going to need a mental break, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Having the freedom to maybe you want to go to the movies at 11:30 in the morning on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
You're going to have the freedom to do that if you are your own boss and, you're not an 8 to 5 person every day. But the freedom that you have, the creativity that you have. So you get to decide, this is how I want it to look.
Yeah.
Somebody's not standing over you saying, nope, cut this out, cut this out, cut this out, and add this in. And then when you look at it, it's not your work. It's other people's, it's everyone else's input, and then it's not yours. But you have the freedoms to choose what you're going to do. You can be your own boss. And also, I really want to get into this, is the ability to give back. And I'm not saying that if you work a full-time job, you can't give back. That's not what I'm saying. But maybe there's an organization that you love. Maybe you want to work with Habitat for Humanity, or you want to work with something else. And they are, it's a day that someone is getting a house. Yeah. And they need a photographer. Well, you know what? You may say, hey, I would like to volunteer my services. Right. Because you are able to give back to the community. And it is so rewarding to be able to do that. Again, just because you have a full-time job, that doesn't mean you can't do that. But I think the freedoms that it allows you is a big blessing. Yeah. And the fact that, one of the things I would love to do is have my husband on board. Yeah. And that would allow both of us to say, okay, this span of time, we are doing this. And just being able to choose. Yeah. Being able to choose. Yeah.
For sure. I totally agree.
I feel like I went around the world and spun around and went down the rabbit hole. But
no, you're good. But I want to thank you so much for being on. Where can everyone find you?
If you want to find me, you can go to neelyroberts.com. You can find me on Instagram at Neely Roberts Photo. And you can find me on Facebook at Neely Roberts Photography.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this podcast. And until next time, bye guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening to today's podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you leave a review, because that really, really helps us grow the show. If you want to continue to support this podcast, head over to our Patreon from the link in the description or the link in the show notes, where you can sign up for one of 3 tiers where you get exclusive merch, a direct line to me to tell me who I should have on the show, as well as getting to hear and see the podcast days before it releases to the public. I'm so excited for all the other exciting things that I'm going to be sharing with my patrons, and I can't wait to see you there. This podcast is also sponsored by HoneyBook. HoneyBook is an amazing client management service that I've been using for years, and they are absolutely incredible. They are so incredible that they're giving you guys an exclusive deal for 50% off your first year with them. That is a $200 savings, which is so crazy and so amazing. So you guys should head over to the link in the description or the link in the show notes to grab that amazing deal. This podcast is edited and produced by Earbrads. You can find them at Earbrads on Instagram or at earbrads.com. You can find me at Vanessa Jordan Photo on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. And you can also find me on my YouTube channel, Vanessa Jordan Photography, if you are listening to the podcast version and not watching the YouTube version of this podcast. And you can also find me at vanessajordanphotograph.com. And until next time, I cannot wait to create some amazing conversations with you.